the ruler of Apocalypse, who is one of the most powerful villains in the DC universe, humiliated two of the strongest Supermen and the entire Justice League. I'm Andrew the Geek Master, and in this video we'll tell this wonderful story that has one of the best Darkseid moments. To not miss stories like this, click on the subscribe button, activate the bell, and let's get started. In this story, Superman and Batman met a young boy named David Sekela, who, like Superman, is the only survivor of a planet that was completely destroyed. Feeling a lot of compassion for the boy, Superman decided to help poor David, who also demonstrated having superpowers under the yellow sun of Earth. David even received a hero suit based on an ancient Kryptonian myth and became Superman's sidekick, known as Boy Thunder. Later, David was introduced to the Teen Titans to have friends his own age, but the more the boy progressed in controlling his powers, he also showed an aggressive temperament and a tendency to harm villains, perhaps due to his trauma. Superman, as always, gave great advice on how to have self-control and assured him that there are always non-lethal ways to deal with a threat. David was willing to follow Superman's teachings, but everything changed when he was kidnapped and horribly tortured by the Joker. Because of this traumatic experience, David became so blinded by rage that he tried to kill the Joker, but was stopped by the Teen Titans. And even with Superman giving the boy new chances, several times he almost killed other villains, being stopped at the last moment. When it seemed that finally the young man was going to change and effectively become Superman's sidekick, he ended up falling into a trap set by the villain Key and was sent to another Earth, Earth 22, also known as Kingdom Come Universe. The detail is that when David stopped on this Earth, he met the supervillain named Gog, who was actually waiting for him. Much later, Flash Barry Allen was mapping the multiverse when he found Boy Thunder on Earth 22 facing a large, shadowy figure. Deeply concerned about what he saw, Flash informs Superman and Batman and helps them travel to this Earth. Upon arriving there, the heroes decide to first investigate the place without getting involved. They find David, who is now an adult, and simply observe him. Then a battle erupts in the center of Metropolis, and David, now called Thunderman, after defeating the villain, still uses his powers to burn her face, which is a type of torture just like he did when he was a child. Seeing this, Superman once again had to stop David from going too far. Seeing Superman and Batman, David quickly understood that they were his former mentors, and although at first he seemed very happy to see them again, this proved to be a ruse, because David grabbed Superman by the throat and tried to electrocute him, believing that both Superman and Batman had abandoned him in the past. David became so vengeful and so far from the ideals of the heroes of the main Earth that he made Superman and Batman fight against the Superman and Batman of Earth 22, remembering that Kingdom Come Superman is much stronger than the Superman of the main Earth. And the reason David deviated so much from Superman's teachings is that he was being manipulated by Gog, one of the ancient gods who ventured into Earth 22 after discovering the multiverse. Because David proved loyal to Gog, Gog turned him into Magog, the ultimate warrior who would become one of the main enemies of Kingdom Come Superman. However, David did not know what Gog's true plans were. The truth is that Gog was planning his own ascension. For this, he intended to unite David's unique ability to traverse dimensions with the power of the Mobius chair that he had stolen from Metron. In this way, he would cross not only himself through the cosmic barrier surrounding the multiverse, but he would also take an army with him beyond the barrier of the Speed Force, beyond the Bleed, to wage a total war on Apocalypse. Fortunately, the Superman and Batman of Earth 22, who are older versions of our heroes, believed in our heroes and broke free from Gog's influence, who had brainwashed all the heroes of this Earth. To prevent Gog's plans from coming to fruition, the two Batmen separate David from Gog. And while the two Batmen face David, the two Supermen confront the mighty Gog, even giving him the opportunity to explain himself and give up his plans, But of course, the villain will not simply give up and fires a powerful energy blast against the heroes, starting a fight between them. Even being a god, the fight is still 2 against 1. The Supermen do not intimidate themselves before the mighty being before them and land good punches on the villain. Knowing the threat that Gog is, the heroes' plan is not to give him a chance at all, so much so that they use their various combined powers like freezing breath and heat vision. Still, even receiving several blows, Gog does not seem to be affected much, proving his incredible resilience. And when he finally hits the heroes, it's almost a hit kill. Combining his gigantic size with his strength, he begins to crush the Supermen as if they were nothing. He even holds both of them, one in each hand, and violently slams them against the ground. The Superman of the main Earth even faints on this occasion, while the Kingdom Come Superman still resists well, but is also not in his best condition. At the moment Gog intended to kill them both by crushing them, reinforcements arrive. Turns out the Batmans managed to convince David that he was on the wrong path, and David brought along the entire Justice League of this Earth to face Gog and help the Supermen. Seeing this, Gog is not intimidated. In fact, he quickly gets the idea to open a boom tube that leads directly to Apocalypse. While all the heroes attack Gog, our Batman helps our Superman to recover because they are facing a great danger. Bruce noticed that Gog's ability to manipulate people at will is eerily similar to the anti-life equation. That is, Gog may have the secret to the one thing Darkseid has been searching for all his existence. If this is indeed true, the heroes cannot let Gog get close to Darkseid, otherwise the entire cosmos will be shaken. This means more than ever, this is a job for the Supermen, and a very beautiful scene to watch. The 2 Supermen attack Gog with all their might, hitting the ancient god's chin, and finally managing to knock out the villain. With things seemingly resolved, Superman takes a moment to talk to his former partner. David apologizes for everything he did, but Superman is glad David is free from Gog. He acknowledges David as a great fighter and says it's okay, they just need to close the boom tube and then they'll figure out what to do next. However, before they can close it, they are all haunted by the sudden appearance of Darkseid, who came in search of the anti-life equation. From that moment on, all the heroes have only one goal: to prevent the ruler of Apocalypse from accessing what is inside Gog's brain. Batman gives specific orders to David. He must gather other heroes who are on their way and bring them here in the hope of gaining time against Darkseid. However, David does not obey and hides, watching everything that happens. And it is here that Darkseid shows how powerful he really is. What follows is one of the most epic moments of the villain. First, he is confronted not only by 1, but 2 Supermen, who attack him with very powerful and fast blows that do not make a dent against Darkseid. The villain takes all the blows without feeling the slightest damage. In fact, he even finds it interesting to have 2 Supermen. But for him, that is nothing out of the ordinary. He defeats the 2 heroes with an Omega Beam blast, and then steps on Superman as he continues to walk in search of the anti-life equation. Earth 22 Flash believes he can gain some time against Darkseid, but he could not be more wrong. Unlike the Supermen, the speedster can't even touch the villain, who with just one move throws Flash against a wall, taking him out of his way. Shazam was another one who didn't even have a chance to attack, being completely defeated by the Omega Beam Blast. Next, he is confronted by the bloodthirsty Amazon and the Flaming Knight, Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern Alan Scott. However, they are betrayed by their own careless ferocity. Darkseid easily defends himself against their sword blows and then crushes them, asserting that war is cold, but even colder are their graves. Finally, he easily defeats the 2 Batmen, completing the definitive defeat of the Justice League. Effortlessly, he defeated the most powerful heroes of the League, reaffirming his place as the most powerful and deadliest villain in DC. When Darkseid finally reaches Gog's body, he begins to extract the anti-life equation, stating that Gog will not survive this process. David is completely frightened after everything he saw Darkseid do, but still he gathers courage to confront the villain, stating that he will stop him. Darkseid questions how he will do that when two Kryptonians couldn't. It is when David raises his staff and fires a powerful energy blast, not against Darkseid, but against Gog, who simply dissolves into bones and then into nothing. In other words, David killed him. Seeing this, Darkseid pauses momentarily shocked, then turns and leaves. David confronts the Lord of Apocalypse, stating that they are not finished yet. But Darkseid once again shows why he is the badass villain in DC. To the villain, David is insignificant, just like the rest of the heroes on Earth. Darkseid's machinations are on a galactic scale, and at this moment there is nothing to be gained by wasting his time with Earth's children. David begins to claim his victory, to which Darkseid responds that maybe he defeated Gog. But until they meet again, every time David wakes up screaming from his nightmares, it will be Darkseid whom he will see. And with that said, the villain leaves. Once Darkseid is gone, David turns to the heroes, especially Superman, wanting a celebration for him achieving victory. But Superman does not approve of his attitude. David achieved his victory by cold-bloodedly murdering Gog. David still can't understand this thinking. In his head, he just saved billions of lives, and for that, he only needed to take one. Kingdom Come Superman explains that there are more measures of morality than a numbers game, and David retorts, stating that there wasn't much to do because Darkseid was wiping the floor with them. Our Earth Batman reminds David that he ignored his orders to bring reinforcements. Instead, he hid until he felt he had no choice but to act alone. Still, David refuses to accept the truth, and when he counters again claiming that he did what needed to be done, Superman says he chose the easiest path, and that doesn't make him a hero, but rather a weapon. All the heroes stand against David, making him wonder how this world is a worse place without Gog in it, and Earth 22 Batman responds that it's because they simply swapped one murderer for another. This leaves David so enraged that he walks away alone, telling everyone to go to hell. And everything that happened here would lead to the events of the Kingdom Come story, where David would follow his bad path, making terrible decisions of which he would deeply regret, because they would cause many deaths. At this, the Spectre appears, and before taking Superman and Batman to his Earth, he shows them David's future and allows them to talk in that future. Then they are taken to a cemetery where a well-aged David deeply laments his past decisions. However, he is contacted by our Superman, who claims that the mistakes of the past cannot be erased, but they can be mitigated by the actions of the future. He still believes that David can use his regrets to illuminate a better path for the future. All he needs to do is to rise and do better. Then the two embrace, and it is truly shown that after this, David finally used his powers for good alongside other heroes. Hope you enjoyed this incredible story that contains epic battle scenes. If you liked it, don't forget to leave your like, share with your friends, and of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next stories we're preparing for you. Comment below what was the best moment and what you would like to see in the next videos. Thank you for watching until here, and until the next adventure.